Alright, so I'm going to use as many weird tools as I can on this to give you an understanding on how to use those within your workflow. But one things that I always do all the time is grab vertices in large chunks and I straighten those vertices out. That's just one of the 101 tricks. I don't know if I showed you that or not. If you scale negative on any set of vertices, it'll scale them. Or let's say if I had these over here, okay, like that, and I wanted to straighten this whole curve out, I would just grab all the vertices and go like that, and voila, it just kind of moves it, and then I can move this as a big chunk. So that's just a 101 trick, but I don't think I showed that. So what I'm going to do here is grab all these vertices right here and use a thing called a lattice on this to open this up right in this area. And that is located under animation, create, lattice, and then square box. Here I have control points set for 4, 4, 4, 4. I don't know if I need that many for this example, but sometimes I do. Yeah, in this example, all I need is a top and bottom. So those vertices right there are the only ones being affected by this. So that means that if I grab this lattice, and I can just right click to go to lattice point, I can now take this lattice and go like this. And it makes a nice smooth transition between big bulky axe to nice sharp edge. Alright, so now that I have this, I can Command D that up, duplicate it. Okay, I like that. The only thing I don't like about it, it's a little unrealistic because, I don't know, the blade's almost thinner than the entire axe. So what I'm going to do is take this set of lattice points and tone those down just a little bit. Just like that. That's a smoother transition up. Yeah. And I like getting this all in one view, so if you go to all the other views and hit F on the keyboard, you can bring them all into view. Now this one I probably don't need a lattice for. I'm just going to scale these down just a little bit to round off the back edge. Just like that. Just gives it a little bit more flow. And maybe take this edge and scale those up just a little bit. There we go. Good. Okay, now I can get rid of this one, and I have this one to play with. And a lot of times what I like doing is making several copies and getting those in the center of the world. That's just something I do in my workflow. X on the keyboard allows you to point snap them within the center of the grid. So I can do that, and then I can move it to the side and Command D that. Okay, so this is what I mean. I have my starting point. I go to a second piece, and I want to start working on that piece rather than try to go towards any undos. I like the undo command, but I say, well, sometimes I see my designing flaw over here, and I can just make a copy of it. So here is this area right here, and what I need is a hole. Now, I'm going to go 1 on the keyboard and show you what this looks like without being smoothed. Okay, so it does look like an awful mess, right? So when carving a hole in things, I like using the rigid geometry rather than the other smooth geometry. And I really like making my pieces realistic. I don't like making these one solid chunk of geometry. for the fact that later on, when you texturize the piece, it really helps out having them in the chunks based upon material. So, meaning that this axe is made out of steel, the handle is made out of wood. Therefore, I kind of keep with the realistic idea that those two pieces kind of need to be different pieces. Now, whether you're modeling for just yourself as a model or a video game, you used to never be able to do that. You used to have to keep them one solid chunk of geometry. They all had to be like, but with technology nowadays, with video games, you can keep them in separate chunks. You can have materials going across many items. You can do some fantastical things. Before we had to have poly counts of like 1,000. It's insane how much progress and how much technology has advanced. So here, what I'm going to do is edit mesh, merge. So I'm going to merge all those vertices, and don't forget that's just half of the piece of puzzle, because now I have to export that to a fix me. And there's my fix me object. I'm just so used to having that on the desktop. Move that off to the side and then re-import it back in as fix me. Okay. I almost want to make a script that does that just to get it out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to insert an edge loop right here in the center here. Alright, and right here and here. Okay, so let's look at this smooth to see what it looks like. 3 on the keyboard allows me to... Wow, that's pretty nice. So the topology goes all the way around. This hole, that's realistic to what an axe really does. This topology line goes across the blade. Again, that kind of closely matches what a real axe has, as far as if we were to see an axe in polygons. Okay, so good. Let's go on to the next video.